But the French language is very complicated. Like you have a lot of, how do you say it? Like exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a very difficult language to learn. And the German is very structured.
Okay.
And there is a lot of, it's
Mhm.
funny because I studied political sciences, so
Mhm.
not social, more economics. But in my studies before, like as a child, I did some mathematics, and
Mhm.
I really love mathematics. It's something I really, it's funny to do politics afterwards, but this kind of logic and this, I understand the beautiness from mathematics. I don't mean I understand, like I understand it, but I see where it is and I understand that people say it's beautiful. And I have the feeling that the German language is as tight and precise and very well sculpted.
Mhm.
So it's one part that I think is very beautiful in that sense, and how you build worlds. That's why I say words. How you build words.
Words.
How you build words, and also something about how precise it is. So I really enjoy working in German and not in English because it's a very precise language, and I do real estate with a lot of legal finances. I can tell you one word is not a different one, whereas in French it's more like flirty. We don't know what we're talking about, kind of,
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Same
yeah.
thing in Spanish.
Yeah,
It's like
right?
very ambiguous. Like, oh, how do you know this is this and not that? It's like, oh, because of the
Context.
Context. Yeah, exactly.
That's why. So,
Or you don't call things by the name. You just use some vague stuff like, yeah, the stuff that does that.
yeah, exactly.
And it's like, but that has a name. Yeah, but nobody uses that name.
It's true.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, therefore, the German language is very beautiful. And if we talk about the speaking or hearing, yeah, I understand it's a bit like, but you have different accents. And I realized the better you get in a language, the more you hear the subtle differences between the different accents. And you have German accent that are more nicer or not. I can explain you why, but I think the from Saxony, I think it's a very interesting accent. I don't know, it makes me happy. They're not gonna be happy if they listen to this, but
The Germans will say it's the worst accent.
it's true, but it has, in French you say a charme.
Okay.
Do you know that word?
Yeah. Charm. Yeah.
Charm. We use it a lot in French to say from someone, for example, he's not beautiful, but he has something.
Okay.
Il a du charme.
Okay.
And I think Saxony, they have charm.
Okay.
So it's like, you cannot explain it, but I think it's well, or maybe it's the surprise part. It's always like, huh? Or surprising. And
for me, my favorite, I think, is the Bavarian accent. It sounds like very, I don't know, like very traditional for some reason, and a little bit poshy sometimes. How they pronounce the A it was like guten Tag. It sounds like if they were like the I don't know, like more, somehow more poshy. I don't know. And the one from Swabia sounds very, I don't know, very rural. And also I find it very funny because you will hear someone, for example, you will hear the voice of a woman and you're hearing her talking in Swabian, and then you think, okay, there's an old lady talking behind me. Then you turn around and she's like 20, and it's like, why this 20-year-old woman talks like a 50-year-old man? It's I don't know. That's something I find very curious about the different accents.
But that's why it's so nice to learn the language. When people say when you learn a language, you also discover the culture, right? And that is also what's behind. And about language and accent, I think Germany, from my experience, is a country who is very grateful when you make the effort of trying to speak or trying to learn. I know I hear a lot of people, of people saying I go to the restaurant and they switch in English and I cannot practice my German. This is my recommendation, and I stand my point that if you want to learn German, for example, you have to work in German. Just put yourself in a situation where you don't have the choice. And the guy at the bakery, he doesn't have the whole afternoon to just take your order in a crappy German. Sorry, like do tandems, or I do really believe in the side project or the full-time job. Do it in German. It's going to be fucking hard. The 3, 4, 5, 6 months, the first one are going to be hardcore, but afterwards you're going to step up. And what you get from making the effort is amazing, because then you also have a part where you can play, like oh, I don't understand what you're talking about when you understood it very well, because your level of understanding is always way better than your speaking one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is also something very fascinating. You know, they talk about you as if you don't understand, and you're like, I cannot express this, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You know that what you said is going to go in a reel.
I know.
Because it sounds polemic, and I like polemic
you do.
headlines. But it's true. It's true. How I learned German, it was because I arrived to a job interview, and it was in German. I was speaking very crappy German, but I think their English was very crappy, so they stick to German. And I had no other option than to try to understand, try to express myself somehow using my hands and whatever. And it got better little by little.
And you can put this in a second reel, but I do believe that learning another language makes you more intelligent.
100%.
And it makes you more intelligent when you practice it full time, a lot of time, not, once every 3 days when I go to my practice of German lesson, for example. Like, you're not gonna learn anything from that. And again, it's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You can be oh my God, there's so much French people living here since years who never learned. So it's okay. It's just what kind of experience you want to do from Germany or from your country. And living abroad, my thing was always blending in. I love it. I love it going somewhere and no one knows I'm a tourist. This is, I think, my best feeling in the world. I love it.
I mean, that depends. If you move in Europe, of course, they will think that you're a local. That will not happen the same thing in India.
This is rude. No, it's true. But you know, like the kind of, you blend in.
Mm-hmm. Because like culturally, I mean.
Yeah, or the people don't... You know, you have people, German are the best example, sorry for that, when they go like on vacation, you see they're German.
Yeah.
And I love to have the in-between. You're not sure. You can see the person is not from India, but I mean, we're in such a global world right now that now in Europe, you do not assume anymore. Mm-hmm. You're not supposed to say like, hey, where are you really coming from? Like, guys, I guess we said we stopped this.
Yeah.
So I think this is also something you can benefit going somewhere else, and just it's about the experience you want to live.